Hello, everybody. Welcome, episode 3. Let's talk Buffs. To the right of me is Carter Dillon. Make sure you guys are following him on Twitter. Before I get started, too, I have to shout out Let's Talk Buffs on Twitter. Please go follow it. We're putting out a bunch of good stuff on there. We'll have the film up on there, clips that Carter and I see on there. And I don't think there's a lot of CU people doing that. So if you're interested in seeing some of the All 22 stuff, make sure you're following that account along with just some takes, different stuff like that. Carter, how are you doing though, man?
I'm great. I'm pumped up, ready for this game. I think this is the biggest game of the year. Obviously, CU. We haven't got to talk about North Dakota State, but CU got a big win last week, so they're 1-0, and a big rivalry game coming up this weekend.
Yeah, man. So let's just hop straight into it. Why not? Like I mentioned earlier, we both watched the film. We have some takes from this North Dakota State game. CU won 31-26. Immediately, Carter, the first thing that stuck out to me is North Dakota State's not your average FCS team. This is a really good football team. Specifically, just their play style and how well coached they are. Those are two things that stood out to me. I thought Prime said it best in that team meeting he had. You can tell this is passed on. Like, I thought the coaching change was going to be a bigger deal for them. I don't think it is at all. They just run what North Dakota State's supposed to run. That's what they do, and it's inherited now. All of that discipline, everything like that. Carter, I'll throw it to you here just in a sec, but what blew me away was how just disciplined they were. They habitually, offensively, never put themselves in a bad position. Whether we're not taking sacks, there's no negative plays. We're only gaining yards as an offense, and it makes it easier for them. Their whole playbook is open on third down. They're not in 3rd and 10. All right, it's 3rd and 3 now. Your whole playbook's still open. You have no idea, and we could go to anything. Immediately stood out to me, but let me know what you thought about that game.
Yeah, I mean their offensive style, they just totally control the time of possession. They're constantly putting themselves in positions to just eliminate aspects of the field. Our pass rush was they didn't care about our pass rush because they didn't have to. They had such quick game running options, RPOs, stuff like that. There's, like you said, so disciplined. One of the toughest week 1 matchups you're gonna find in non-conference play. Especially for a team that has as many transfers in and new players as we have. It was amazing to sneak out of there with a dub.
Yeah, no. I thought defensively you could see for them that talent drop off from Colorado to them. Like, their DBs just couldn't hang with our wide receivers. That was just something that they weren't going to be able to do. They just didn't have the athletes for it. But, offensively, they kind of got away with it. You didn't see any deep balls for North Dakota State. You didn't see any North Dakota State player outrun a Colorado player or anything like that. It was just like what we said. They were super disciplined, never had any negative plays, which always is going to put you in a good position there. Carter, you mentioned the edge rushers. This is something I wanted to hit on as well. I honestly saw a lot of complaints about the edge room after the game online, just from the fans and stuff. I thought they were pretty good. I won't lie to you. I thought, especially the top 3, I need to see more Arden Walker against maybe more pass happy teams, because I thought he did a pretty good job getting after the quarterback. I didn't think his run defense was up to par. I thought the other 3, though, especially Deion Hayes, was damn good. I thought all 3 of them were damn good. It was just really hard to be productive as an edge rusher when the quarterback is getting the ball out of his hands as fast as he was for North Dakota State, as well as, like I said earlier, they're not in any and long situations. There was never a moment the edge rushers could just pin their ears back and go. That wasn't something. We're reading the run or the pass every single time. And all things considered, thought they played well. Along with the interior defensive line, that was a big question, I think, for people going into this game. How CU's trenches look. On defense, I give them definitely a passing grade. They were good. I don't know if there's an elite guy in that room, Carter. I don't know. Did you see anybody like elite?
I thought Chidozie did a pretty good job just kind of having his I wouldn't necessarily say his way, but he was a force in the middle. He got that sack on that longer play. I thought he looked good, but it's just a tough offense to really grade any of those guys amazing. But
Yeah.
we'll really see it this week. We will. They
Yeah.
completely different offenses.
Absolutely. And I think you nailed it. Like I came away impressed with the group as a whole. I think they have a lot of playable guys.
Yeah.
That's something that I came away with.
No glaring holes is my
No,
biggest thing. Yeah.
and they rotated them a lot. It wasn't the same group in there. Like you saw different guys in there frequently. Maybe like five. I think it must have been six different interior guys played. And I thought all of them at least got a passing grade. So CU is going to be able to throw out different looks, keep guys fresh in that interior this year. I feel pretty comfortable saying that after game one and stand up well. Let me think if I had any other notes I wanted to hit on there. I didn't think you could see anything from the corners. I'll be honest. I still have no clue. I couldn't tell you. This
Played
is
a lot
going
of
to,
man.
a lot. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. This is going to play into the next game. One of the points I want to hit on, but I thought here I'll go after you. I'm going to ask you this. What was the biggest concern for you in that game walking out?
I was expecting a little bit more from the run game. I mean, we know NDSU they put out good linemen, the trenches, O line and D line. But apart from a couple big third down conversions, I didn't really care for Charlie's play. I thought Dallin kind of has a little bit more of a spark to him than Charlie does. But still, even with Dallin, I wasn't too impressed. I would like to see Micah maybe get some more play in there. Micah Welsh, a true freshman, but he's obviously a true freshman. But I didn't even think the run blocking was that good either. I thought their pass protection was far better than their run blocking. So that was probably my biggest thing, my biggest complaint. Probably one of my only complaints about groups as a whole. But yeah, definitely the run blocking / run game.
I think that's totally fair. They didn't really have a productive game on the ground at all. Like and it's not like they attempted a lot, right? They didn't run the ball a lot, but when they did, I mean, yeah, they had a couple plays. Otherwise, though, nothing really came off explosive. Dallin caught that one out of the backfield where obviously you gave the dude the stiff arm.
Yes.
That was nice. But there was nothing explosive coming out of the backfield, in my opinion, just all around. I would like to see Micah. That's a guy I was watching the press conference this week with Coach Prime. And, they asked him that question, like, are we going to see more Micah? He gave him glowing reviews, absolutely glowing reviews. So I was like, okay, he didn't really answer the question. Matter of fact, he probably leaned no, but gave him glowing reviews. So that's a player that's now on my radar. And I'm like, okay, I want to see what this kid's all about, right? If you're getting this type of hype from Coach Prime, he clearly believes in you. So that is a good point. That's one that you're going to want to keep an eye on in this Nebraska game and just going forward for the season. They're going to have some sort of run game or some sort of short yardage game to eat up more time of possession. Because when I got the film this week, dude, it was an hour and a half for the defense and 30 minutes for the offense. I was like, God damn. This is like we really didn't have any time of possession. But my biggest one, I want to see how Coach Livingston adjusts his scheme going into this next game.
Yes.
That was my biggest concern leaving because, like I said earlier, I couldn't evaluate the corners. And it wasn't like North Dakota State wasn't passing the ball. It was just the defense they were in. North Dakota State came out with just beaters off bat. CU might have or should have just held up a sign and was like, yo, we are running cover one man today.
Yep.
Letting you guys know, like, this is what we're doing. It was pick route. All right. It was just here's a whip route right there. That's impossible to guard. I saw people giving Trevor Woods a hard time for not covering the Texas route out of the backfield. Damn hard to guard for a linebacker. The guy he's guarding is just going to be a better athlete 99% of the time. It's a hard route. And it was a clear out for him. It was, okay, corners, fly this way. Everything's going to the outside. It's a clear out for that Texas in the middle of the field. Make sure nobody else gets involved in that play. So I want to see if he gets out of that at all. We saw some cool blitzes and stuff like that in the game. But it didn't really matter because the shell of the coverage was the same. We're running man coverage, and there's a possibility we have a deep safety. That's it. So I think ultimately that's a huge reason why North Dakota State had so much success offensively in this game. I kind of put it on the defensive coordinator, and I'm hoping that that changes. So I think that brings us right. Or do you have anything else to add?
I was just gonna say I think you're exactly right, but I do think we'll see a change. I honestly think coming from the NFL, like you see much more dynamic defenses and way different stuff. And for as long as I mean, obviously he wasn't super high in the rankings. He wasn't a defensive coordinator or anything, but being in NFL rooms for as long as he was, 8 years or so,
Right.
I assume he was just trying to be vanilla and not tip his hand too much, because there weren't many people in this Colorado, like as Colorado fans and in the Colorado building, that were really expecting them to lose to North Dakota State. So I'm hoping he was saving that stuff for Nebraska, but we'll see. But you're exactly right.
A great segue, Carter. That brings us right into this next topic, and let's move on to the Nebraska game. The North Dakota State game of the past. We saw some good things. Offense, I think, is going to be damn explosive, but let's move on to this Nebraska game.
It's hate week.
It is hate week. Hate week rivalry for all the new fans in Colorado. Hey, man, we embrace you over here. We really do. And just get hyped up for this. This goes back forever. This is some stuff my dad tells me about living here all the time. Oh, you weren't around in the days when Colorado and Nebraska. I've been hearing this shit my whole life. So it's fun. Yeah. It's fun actually being in here, and it sounds like this is going to be woozy. Carter, let me know how important this game is.
Oh, dude, this is a classic, man. I mean, I'm on Twitter. I've been fighting the corn crew, bro. I put out a tweet, Colorado is beating Nebraska, and man, they were on my ass, bro. They were telling me to delete my account. So, I mean, this is huge. I mean, CU fans are into it. The CU team had the governor, long snapper Camden Dempsey, get up and talk about hate week, how he better not see nobody in red. So both fan bases are fired up, man. I think this is the biggest game of the year. And the biggest thing to me is we're not going to see this game for a while. There's not another game Nebraska CU scheduled for a while. So this one's going to loom over. This one's going to linger. So this is a big one.
Yeah, it is. This is going to be a really fun game. And like you said, Carter, I mean, packed out crowd, right? Huge. You mentioned that this is going to be the last time that they play for a little bit. And just enjoy this one. That's what I want Colorado fans to do. Enjoy this game. You're not going to see this for a while. And, I mean, just going from different conferences, when you go leave, go to the Pac-12, and then come back, like it kind of takes away from a lot of the rivalries Colorado used to have. Mm-hmm. And I don't know really who that is going to be going into the future. If there even is one, that's going to have to be built up through time. So make sure you're enjoying this game. We might not even get CSU, right? Like so enjoy these because we're not going to get them. Headline news, Campson and Craig, the safety, it looks like he cleared everything. I know he was playing with a concussion for a little bit. So shout out to him. I think that is awesome. They're going to need the safety help. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the kid's name. Number 9. I thought he played pretty well in his place.
Savion Riley, man. I thought it's tough. You know you're not starting, and you don't know when your name's gonna get called, especially in the first game. 3 plays in, boom, he's out there the rest of the game. I was really pleased with him. I mean, that could have been a bigger hole than it seemed. But yeah. Glad to have Cam back.
He was integral to what they wanted to do, just running as much man as they did in that game. He really did, actually. It was one of the first players I wrote down, and I was watching the defense. I was like, this kid's actually has a little something here. So I think right off the bat, Carter, they played UTEP last week, obviously destroyed them. It was like 40-7. Mm-hmm. When I was watching that game, I couldn't help myself. I tweeted it immediately, man. That North Dakota State team is so much better than that UTEP team. It's not even close.
No.
I think North Dakota State beats the brakes off that UTEP team, if I'm being honest with you.
Oh, yeah. I think the score, Nebraska, UTEP, it's probably the same. North Dakota State, UTEP.
It's around the same at least.
Yeah, it's. I mean, we don't get enough credit for who we played week 1, but it's CU, so I'm not expecting anything less. But you're exactly right. I mean, it's so hard to grade. Like, it's so hard to have an expectation for CU and Nebraska because they played completely different teams.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it is. And that's what makes this game hard to kind of evaluate. Because when I go back and I want to watch that Nebraska stuff, right? They're playing much inferior opponent where I think North Dakota State could compete with these teams. I really do think so. I mean, we already went over all the stuff they do well. And it makes it kind of a difficult game to evaluate. But Dylan Raiola did have a really great opening game. He played really, really well. I think it was like 200 and whatever yard, 238 yards, 2 touchdowns. He went 19 to 27. The 2 touchdowns came off of 9 routes. That's what I took away from him. Like, man, I want to see a little more processing. He did flash it. Yep. He had one play where he got off and hit the middle. His feet were kind of crazy on that play. Scrambled straight up into the pocket. Being a Broncos fan, that's something we saw from Bo Nix in his first preseason game. It was very reminiscent of that same deal where it was like, bro, you could just take a couple steps up. You don't have to do a dead sprint up in the pocket. Yeah. I'll get into my little Patrick Mahomes rant here in a second.
Oh my God, dude.
But how afraid should we be of Dylan Raiola in this game? I know he's young. He had a really great game last week, though. Do you think with better competition, it doesn't really matter? This is just going to continue?
Look, I mean, 5-star #1 quarterback. The kid's talented. I mean, you can't take that away from him. He's big. He's got the arm angles. He's got the arm strength. I'm not going to take that away from him. But I do think there is an argument there that this might be the biggest game he'll play in his college career, and it's his second game.
Yeah, you're right.
So I think there is something there. It's hard to judge him, really. I mean, he loved the deep ball, like you said. But I did think he forced it at times, too. And he showed flashes of, okay, this dude really is a freshman. He's super talented, but he is still a freshman.
Yeah, I agree, and I think other teams are at least going to be able to force that out a little more. I don't care how young you are, or I don't care how really talented you are at the quarterback position. There's going to be coverages you've never seen when you're as young as Dylan Raiola. He's still adjusting to the game speed even. High school is way different now to college, and he's going to have to play some damn good football teams this year. Ohio State, like they're in the Big Ten. Mm-hmm. He's going to have to play some really, really good teams, and I think the hype's going to come back down to earth a little bit, or at least expectations on this season. I don't have any doubts Dylan Raiola is going to be a really good quarterback going forward. That shouldn't go away. Just as someone who's going to be unbiased about the situation, he's going to be good. I just think this year he's going to hit spots where he looks like a true freshman. That's without question. And it's just whether it happens against Colorado and can Livingston, the new defensive coordinator, get that out of him. This is where I was talking about, like, you're going to want to throw different coverage at him. You're going to want to come out looking like you're doing something, make him read something post-snap. I don't want to just give Dylan Raiola a look at, okay, safety's right there. It's cover 3, I know it. Down set hut. I want to make it where it's, okay, cover 2, down set. Oh, wait, are they in cover 3? Down set. Oh, wait, what? Now they're in cover 6. Like, I want that. This is where you can really take advantage of a young quarterback, and that's what I'm looking for from Livingston in the second game.
Yeah, going back and watching it, he did a good job adjusting pre-snap. He made a lot of adjustments, moving the running back around, just completely changing the play. So yeah, you're exactly right. I hope we throw some exotic stuff at him. I'd like to see them bring a lot of pressure and trust our DBs because we got talented, athletic DBs. I'd like to see them really, really force him to make plays that he can make with his talent, but force him to do it at a high level in that environment, in that game.
Yeah. It's a lot of pressure for a true freshman in this big rivalry game here. Last note on Raiola, we talked a little bit about the running up into the pocket stuff. That's when I was like, man, this guy really thinks he's Pat Mahomes. Like he's doing all of it. I hope it gets to the point where he also thinks like I can get away with the same stuff Pat Mahomes can. Like it would be beautiful if Jalen Raiola wants to throw a no look pass in this game. Please be my guest. Like
Yes.
if you want to do all of this type of stuff, there's a reason. I get he looks up to the kid, looks up to the guy. Absolutely, I get it. There's also a reason Pat Mahomes is one of one. We've never seen anything like him in the history of football. And he's currently the best quarterback in the league. He's gone to 4 out of the last 5 Super Bowls. Dylan Raiola looks a lot like him. I would put a lot of money on that he doesn't play exactly like him. And if he wants to try, please be my guest. Again, Pat Mahomes is one of one. That's my whole point here. I'm not even discrediting Raiola. He could be extremely talented. It's just, hey, please try to play like the best quarterback of all time, who gets away doing stuff other quarterbacks really aren't taught to do and shouldn't do because they aren't Pat Mahomes. So I hope that happens. It was just the scrambling up in the pocket, some of the no-look stuff. Like more of that, please. More of that. Yeah. Okay. Other note, they had their big transfer wide receiver, Isaiah Neyor. I think some people remember him from last season because CU fans wanted him. He was a transfer from Wyoming originally, where he was really good there. Went to Texas last year. There was going to be no shot in hell he played. I don't know why he went there with A.D. Mitchell's Xavier Worthy. And then what's the kid? I just saw this last week. It fixed his helmet in the middle of the play and catched it against CSU. Like, there's no way. There's going to be no way this guy was going to play, and he didn't play. Now transfers to the Nebraska. Not as strong of a wide receiver room as Texas, and is lighting it up in his first game. Big, tall, and really, really fast, this kid. So tell me how you would guard him, Carter.
Look, it has nothing to do with him, more Raiola for this point, but he gets Travis. He gets Travis the whole game because Raiola loved throwing his direction. When he was going through his reads and he needed somewhere to go, he looked at Nair. And that's where he threw it. He didn't look away. He threw it to Nair no matter what. There was a time where he got back to the backside dig, and there was 3 guys on Isaiah Nair, and he threw it, and he got away with it. He loves throwing to him, and I'm sticking Travis on there and forcing him to test probably the best DB he's going to see this year.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. I think that is a good strategy, and I'm definitely. I mean, this guy looks like he's going to make a career out of himself, being a really good deep threat. That's something I came away pretty strongly. I think he's like 6'2", and when you run like he does at 6'2", he probably is going to. I mean, he will be an NFL player, I think, after that one game, and he's going to do it off the name of being, I'm a really good deep threat. You could throw the ball deep. I have a long wingspan for a wide receiver, and I run really fast. So I would also put Travis on him, and I would definitely make sure you read his tendencies. If he beats me, I don't know. I'm definitely playing the deep ball more than I usually would against this kid. If I'm a corner, you don't want to get just completely complacent on that, but read the scouting report. That's what this guy does. Another note, I just want to force them into and long situations, Carter. Mm-hmm. That's something I think is really important. We talked a lot about Raiola and Nair. One thing they also did really well is run the football. That's what they lean on. It's a Matt Rule team. And I don't think Matt Rule is going to want to go into this game thinking Raiola is going to throw 30 times, right? I don't think that's a recipe for success. Do you think CU can stop this run game?
It's going to be a big test. They did have a solid run game. They were never going backwards against UTEP, and they did it a lot. I mean, they started the game strictly running the ball, and part of that could just be the offense. Part of it could be trying to relieve pressure off Raiola. But I'm comfortable with the guys we have up front, but it's a huge part of the game. Whichever team can run the ball better is probably going to be better suited to win this game. I mean, I'm sure Matt Rule knows how electric this CU offense is and saw the time of possession different versus North Dakota State, and he's trying to look to do the same thing. I mean, if he can tire out that defense running the ball, and then the CU offense is only on the field for 4 plays, he's going to try to do that as much as he possibly can. So I think they'll have a solid run game. I mean, there's going to be times where it's hard to stop the run. It really is. But I think they'll do an okay job, good enough job at it Saturday.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. I was thinking before we hopped on the pod here, I'm like, okay, if CU gets over 28 points this game, so I don't know, somewhere in the 30s, they win this football game, in my opinion. I don't think Nebraska's built to go in an evenly matched skilled game, because that UTEP game wasn't. They were able to run and make that just as effective as a pass. They really were. They were getting just as many yards on runs as they were passes. I don't think that's the recipe Nebraska wants to play this game. I think they want to keep CU's offense off the field, and not to say CU's not going to have success on offense. It's just they want to control the clock to where CU's not scoring as many points. That's how I think they would rather play this game. They want to play it close. CU wants to go out and blow them out. That's the different styles here for both teams. I mean, this is another big test for the run defense.
Huge.
That's it. I mean, I think North Dakota State was a really good warm-up for Nebraska. Those guys just got punched in the mouth a little last week and held up to it well. This week, even a bigger punch is coming for the interior guys. Let's see if they hold up this week. I thought Bentley played really good last week. That's something we didn't really see last year. Is that going to hold up this game? Like, these are the questions that need to be answered for their run defense. Any other thoughts you want to throw in there about Nebraska's offense and about how we match up?
Yeah, I wanted to touch one more thing on. You brought up Bentley, and I had been thinking of a thing. So towards the second half of the North Dakota State game, so at the beginning we really saw Bentley and Woods strictly, and then towards the second half we kind of started rotating in that transfer from Charlotte, Nakai Hill-Green, and Jeremiah Brown, and I thought that helped them defend that run. So I'm hoping we still see that rotation, because I thought that really helped. Give the linebackers a little break and rotate all those guys in, because they're all playable.
Yeah, hey, I like it. I'm not mad at it at all. I am not mad at that. If you have the players to do it, I always encourage rotating. Outside of pretty much offensive line and quarterback, I don't really have and corner. Outside of that, though, I don't really have a big issue with rotating. If you can keep guys fresh, that's just an addition to your team. You just need to have the talent to do it. So moving to the defensive side, Nebraska runs a 3-3-5 defense, which has kind of taken over college football recently. A lot of teams are running this style of defense. What stands out to you the biggest there for Nebraska's defense?
They did not blitz very much. They did not pressure the quarterback designed in a sense. They got to the quarterback, but it wasn't bringing the blitz, which I honestly hope they continue that, because if you give Shedeur time with these receivers, I mean, they're going to be in trouble. So I don't see them doing that. I mean, this is probably the best quarterback they're going to play all year, because I think the guy's the best quarterback in college football easily. So it's a weird style. UTEP didn't really have much success going horizontally. They tried doing all those screens. It wasn't really working. And then they would throw the deep ball and touchdown. So I think it's honestly going to play right into what CU wants to do. So I'm expecting a big game out of our offense. I wasn't impressed with their DBs. I thought they were a little smaller. The guy that got beat on that fade ball was only 5'9". So we could see a big game from Will Shepp, who's our true X, bigger guy, jump ball guy. But I'm expecting a big electric offensive showing from us.
I love it. I really do hope so. I think this CU offense is just really, 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 really explosive. And I think that stands up to any college football team in the country. This is an explosive team. When you have Will Shepherd, who was starting in the SEC last week, probably being, I mean, from what I saw last week, he was probably your fourth best wide receiver.
Yeah.
like it's saying a lot. This team is loaded at quarterback and at wide receiver. Jimmy Horn, LeJontay Wester, I don't think we've seen the best out of yet. I
No.
wouldn't be shocked if this is a huge LeJontay Wester game. Matter of fact. Travis, we all know Travis. This team is not even getting into the depth. Like Amarion doesn't touch the field. Draylon Miller is a player that I wanted to highlight as he's going to get involved. Carter, you posted a clip on the Let's Talk Buffs Twitter, and yeah, they're going to use him in all different types of formations and spots. They gave him RPO look. Shador, please hand the ball off one time, please.
Right?
I am begging you. I'm like, man, you might as well just call that shit a play action because he's not handing that ball off. He really, really isn't. It doesn't matter. RPO, you got like one read on the play. It doesn't matter if he's covered or not. I'm throwing that to that one player. Please hand the ball off one time. But Draylon was in for a lot of those situations. He's going to be explosive. That's another option. So, yeah, I think CU's offense is going to be fine. I don't think that's the issue. It's just with an offense as explosive as they are, you can see those teams, and without a really strong run game, those type of teams are going to score really fast or get off the field just generally really fast. Like it's going to be 3 and outs or we're draw touchdowns quick. You just hope that doesn't happen. You need some sort of quick game, some sort of something. And yeah, I don't know. So, and it doesn't get any easier this week with their run defense. I think their defensive line is pretty loaded. They're older cats, and I think that if you were to name the top 10 Nebraska players, 3 of them probably would be defensive linemen. So, yeah, I just think it doesn't get any easier here for the Buffs run defense. I don't think it does. Or the Buffs run offense. I don't think it does.
Yeah, it'd be awesome to have a stout run game this week because, I mean, it would be your easiest path to victory if you could run the ball. But I just don't see it happening. I see it being a similar style to the North Dakota State game where we're relying more on the pass.
Do you think – I was wondering this after watching the game. Part of the quick game thing, I wonder if Shador – and Shador is amazing. I think he's the best quarterback in college. I don't want people to take this any type of way. It's just everybody has some things in their game that they're not the best at. I wonder if Shador is great at quick game or if that's something he needs to work on. He is such a big game hunter, man. That's part of the reason why he's throwing with a guy on his arm and stuff like that, because he's hanging in the pocket and everything like that. I would love for him to come into this game and be a little more quick and decisive, add a little more Oregon offense to his game. I might say we all watched that Oregon game where it felt like the quarterback didn't even really have to do much because dink and dunk. A little more dink and dunk from him just to control the clock a little more. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, you saw that one play last week where it was just a quick slant to Wester. I think they're going to be able to get away with that a lot this week if they want to. So I'd love to see Jimmy and LeJontay or Travis, Will Shep, even all of them combined for a lot of receptions on just those quick outs or quick slants or drags across the line of scrimmage, just little stuff like that. Yeah.
Small stuff like mesh concepts where
two
drags going across, like different things like this, and where Shador's just 1-2 bop out of my hand, 1-2 bop out of my hand, quick decisions. It'll be just as effective as a run. It really would be. So it'll open up things later and make those deep passes even easier, where Shador is freaking ridiculous at that type of stuff. Any more thoughts on the defense there? And then I want to just move on to some players to watch. Nebraska's defense.
Yeah, I really didn't have much except just if the pass pro plays what I thought the pass pro looked good against North Dakota State. And if they keep that up, I think we're in for another great showing from the pass game.
Yeah. Okay. That's another point. Yeah. I mean, Jordan Seaton looked really good last game. Yeah. I want Buff fans to realize he probably will have an up and down season. Ride with him though, because all of these reps are going to make him really good one day. He already is playing good, and to work across the line of scrimmage, you even have the body to play. or the play strength to play is really impressive. He's gonna turn into something really, really good. Okay, players to watch. Give me one offensive and one defensive player to watch for CU.
One offensive player to watch. I already kind of touched on it, but I'm going to obviously be easy to say Travis, so I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to say Will Shep. Quiet game last week for North Dakota State. I could see him having a big game just in the short game and both, long game too. He's a big guy. I wasn't too impressed with their DBs. I thought they lacked a little bit of size. So I could see them attacking that with him, his style of play. So he's my big player to watch in the offense. And on the defensive side, I'm gonna go Deion Hayes. I think he's the most talented pass rusher in that edge group. And Nebraska has a lot more long developing pass plays than we saw at all from North Dakota State. So I could see Deion Hayes having a multi-sack game. I could see that across the entire pass rush on the D-line, but Deion Hayes in particular.
I like it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So since you took Deion, I'm going to take BJ Green. I think this game they're going to come out and pass more. I think BJ is more of a finesse type pass rusher than Deion is. Deion has the heavy hands. And by the way, great pick because Nebraska is looking at their offensive line. They got this dude at tackle that's damn near 6'10". And one thing I know about those tall, like 6'9", 6'10" tackles is they're easy to get under. If he plays with good pad level, gets under that tackle, he will be folding like a like a folding chair. He really will. So I think that's a really good one. I'll just go with BJ Green because I think this edge room is pretty underrated. Offensively, I'm going to go same position as well, but I'm going LeJontay Wester. I think he needs to be incorporated more into the quick game. And I think this week in particular, the quick game is going to be so important. I want to get the ball into LeJontay Wester's hand a lot of times. Plain and simple. I think, honestly, Shermer should be scheming him touches like at least 3 or 4 times a game. Just scheme touches because he's so explosive off the catch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Those are my two. Anything else, Carter, before we sign off here? Do you have another game you want to play? Let me know what's up.
Let's talk about this linebacker interview at Nebraska. I know we talked about it right before the show, but let's talk about this.
Let me know.
So he gets up on the presser, and a reporter asks him about how would you compare Dylan Raiola to Shedeur Sanders, and he snapped back at the reporter. Don't compare Dylan to Shedeur. You don't compare that. Dylan's got that dog. You'll see Saturday. So, I mean, we're going to see, but he's right. Don't compare him because one of them's a top 5 best quarterback in the class and one of them's a true freshman. So it was kind of nice to see them kind of poke the bear a little bit. And Jimmy responded in his presser. He heard the comments and he's on that timing now, and his wide receiver room's on that timing now. So it's just amping up the rivalry even more.
Yeah, when I first heard that when he said his first comment, I was like, yeah, I mean, he's totally right. That's what I was thinking. His first little part in that sentence, he's totally right. Like, you don't want to put that pressure on a true freshman quarterback. Let Raiola be Raiola. Why are we comparing him to Sanders? That's what I was thinking. And then he was like, yeah, but Raiola's a dog. You'll see. It's like, damn, he took that the complete opposite way.
Yeah.
Like, he took me on a loop. But I get it. You're standing up from your quarterback. I don't really know, though, what he's standing up for. Like, I would have just left that comment what it is. Dude, you're comparing a true freshman to a guy that's a senior and who has a chance, who is going to be a first-round pick in the NFL draft. Let Raiola become Raiola. I've seen this so many times where a player starts off really hard and crashes. Don't put this pressure on him yet. We don't want that. Let Raiola develop into the player he should be, and then we can start having some of those conversations. It'd be different if a CU player came out and was like, that Raiola kid's trash, and then you made some comment like that. But that's not what happened. Deion even went to his presser and gave it up for Raiola. He said that you can't scheme against inexperience, which is coach talk, people. Yes, you can, by the way. It's a bull-faced lie. Deion, I love you, Coach Prime. This is what we call coach talk in the media space where, you have things you're supposed to say. And that's what it was. You can tell both coaches aren't trying to light a fire under the opposing team. That's what that was. I just thought it was a stupid comment from him. That's all.
Yeah, no, he could have just said, "Yeah, I'm confident in my quarterback," and just left it at that. But he poked the bear in, and I'm glad he did it. Poke Shador. Let's see.
Yeah, Shador's the type of guy that rides off of that energy too, man. I know
Mhm.
that for a fact. I know it just from when it's a 2-minute drive and he locks in. Like this is the type of player he is. The more pressure you put on Shador, the better he's going to play. But guys, I think that's all for today's episode. Carter,
You want to hit a quick score prediction real quick since we won't see you?
Yeah, I'll edit this part out too.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do the score prediction. What do you have?
I'm gonna go 28-17 CU.
28-17 CU? Fair enough. I will go I'm gonna go 31-24 CU. I think if CU wins this game, they're gonna have to score. If it's a lower scoring game, I have a harder time believing CU wins this, and I just think CU has too much firepower. The Buffs defense continues to play good run defense, and Raiola makes a couple mistakes. That's my take there. Now, if it goes the other direction, I'm not going to be the most shocked, man. I think this is a close game, and I could see it going in multiple different directions, if I'm being honest. Just a lot of it has to do with it being in Nebraska. That's a tough
Totally.
But guys, I think that's it for today's show. Carter, this was a blast. Again, I want everyone to please go follow. It's Let's Talk Buffs on Twitter. Like I said earlier, great clips of the All 22 film. We'll get it right after the game, the day after the game. Morning after, we'll have the film and we'll be posted on there. So make sure you follow that. Make sure you're following Carter at CarterDillon14. Great follow. Super knowledgeable about the Buffs, as you guys can see, and he's tweeting constantly about the Buffs and just giving you guys information. So make sure you're following those two accounts. And until next time, go Buffs.